Hi there, my name is Marlena Frank. I'm a young adult fantasy and horror author. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing these spiral bound notebooks that I got off of Amazon as part of the Amazon Vine program. Now, I got these for free. I've not been compensated in any way other than getting these free products, and all opinions I'm going to be sharing with you today are my own. So what are these journals? These are the DWIYITTN Spiral Journal 4-pack. That's a mouthful. However, I've got a link down below that you can look at that has that all spelled out for you, so you can copy and paste that as needed. Now, these caught my eye because of the beautiful marbling, gold marbling that's on these. They have two different colors, and this was the marble format, and this one really caught my eye because I don't see this beautiful gold filigree very much on journals, and it's just so lovely. I could see myself being really inspired by this. And if you turn it over, it does not have that gold, patterns on the back, but it's still very beautiful, and they come in 4 different colors and, styles. And I like all of these different blue colors that they have. I think they're very pretty. That's like one of my favorite colors, so So let's take a look and see how these journals perform. Let's first look at this lovely cover, this strap that keeps it nice and held closed. So if you look over here, this is built into the hard casing. And while that's not very thin, it feels pretty secure on here, so that's good. It's not ripping out on me or anything like that. Let's see how it lays. So, spiral bound, I expect it to lay pretty flat. You could probably get it to get around like that if you wanted to, but it might take a little bit of working. That's just how spiral notebooks are sometimes. The squeaking you hear is from this as well, but that's okay. This is a pretty nice little journal. It does come with 120 pages. This is 5.7 inches by 8.5 inches. And right now on Amazon, as of this recording, this whole pack is going for $16.42. So let's take a look at swatching some of these, shall we? Now, I've got several little pens here that I'm going to be swatching out on here to see if we get any kind of feathering or bleed through on the pages underneath. Let's take a look. First up, we have the Pilot G207. This is your basic gel pen that you might find kind of a workhorse pen. Now, this is one that's kind of an everyday use pen. Next up is my Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen. This is one that I refill over and over again and has gotten me through several rough drafts. I've written so many books with this pen. And the ink that's going to be in that particular pen is going to be the J. Herbin Pearl Noir. This is my go-to ink. I use it for all of my basic writing. It's fairly inexpensive, and you're just refilling your same pens over and over again, which I like, less waste. Next up, we have a green gel pen, the Pentel 24/7 Medium Rollerball. Now this one has a bit of a bigger tip to it compared to the other gel pen that we have, which is why I wanted to include it here. Next up, we have the Sharpie Permanent Marker. Now this one, not many people are going to be using Sharpies with journals, but you don't know. I have a nephew who loves using Sharpies for everything. So again, for anyone who's going to be using it for crafting or anything like that, it's great to just test out. And finally, we have the Sharpie Accent Highlighter. Again, if you're going to be making notes and highlighting through there, I would want to make sure this doesn't bleed through as well. So let us see how this looks. So first we're going to start with the Pilot G207 gel pen. This writes very smoothly on here. There's a little bit of grit, not too much, but it seems like it goes down very nicely and it doesn't smear. Next up, I'm going to try the Pilot Metropolitan with the J. Herbin Pearl Noir. This feels really good on this paper, and it does smear towards the end, but you know, typically with fountain pens you do want to let it sit for a moment anyway, so that actually is pretty normal. However, be aware that you do need to let your ink sit for a little bit. Don't be like me. Next up we have the Pentel 24/7. This goes on very smoothly, not many issues here, and no smearing, so that's good. Next up, we have the Sharpie. And I always expect the Sharpies to bleed through, but you know, maybe we'll be surprised. Finally, we have our Sharpie highlighter. I always do double because I used to be a double highlighter when I was back in college. And then once for the final line. Okay, now let's see how and if this bled through at all. Okay, so definitely with the Sharpie. In fact, that one bled over onto the following page as well. So that's something to be aware of. The Pentel 24/7 medium rollerball, that one bled through quite a bit. That I would find distracting if I was writing in this journal. The other two, you can't see it too well on here, but it does have some pretty heavy ghosting on here. That might not bother you. Sometimes it would bother me. It really depends on how how much I'm just like wanting to get words down or not. But yeah, so that's something to be aware of, and that's with the Pilot G207 and the Pilot Metropolitan. The highlighter, that one, the double one, you definitely can see a lot better, and the one stroke as well you can see through, coming through on the paper. So, you know, this paper is a bit thinner, but you can probably still, you know, for a casual journal or one that you're like not going to be transcribing like my, you know, long form writing is for my books, this actually seems like it'll do a pretty good job, but just be aware of the bleed through that you might be dealing with if that bothers you, and the potential smearing like we saw with the fountain pen ink. Over here, so you know. Now the gel pen, we were able to, you know, mark that pretty quickly and it didn't have any kind of smearing, but the fountain pen, you'll want to let that sit for a little bit for it to fully go in. So just a heads up for lefties. But overall, not a bad little journal, especially for the cost and for how pretty they are. So again, I don't think, yeah, these don't have any pockets in them or anything like that. So if you're going to be using these for a bullet journal, just be aware of that. Alright, and I think that's all for these journals for today. I hope you enjoyed this review and this breakdown of how they might work for people who write longhand. I find them rather pretty. Personally, I would probably use these for more casual journaling rather than some of my longer manuscripts that I'm going to be transcribing and using long term. However, I could definitely see this as a nice inspiration journal, something to keep by your bed, jot ideas down in. This is perfect for that, and it's so pretty. I definitely think this will be eye-catching for a lot of folks. So thank you again for being here with me. If you want to buy these journals, I do have a link down below. Note that I am using an Amazon affiliate link, so I will get a percentage of that purchase whenever you make that. And you know, it's not going to be costing more to you. It's just a portion that's taken out and sent towards me. So if you decide to do that, I thank you for it. And I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope if you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you back here again soon. Thank you again. Bye.